Guys, look what I had to go pick up the other day. This is a sign that I'm actually graduating, and it's forcing me to process that a little bit, which is something I was trying not to do, but alas, here we are. So, yeah. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello, my name is Alivia Brown, and I am currently a fourth year undergraduate student at UCLA studying anthropology, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some things that I would have done differently as an anthropology major. Now, I hype up anthropology on this channel every single week. I think it's fantastic, I think it's an incredible major, I think more people should study it, I think it's completely undervalued. But with all of that said, I don't think that any major is perfect, and I want to tell you guys what maybe you should do differently if you're starting your journey with anthropology. So with all of that said, let's get on to those tips. Now, this first tip I do think is going to surprise people quite a lot, but I don't want it to scare you, so stick around because I do have some other tips. And this first tip is taking a coding class. Now, in today's day and age, we really do live in this technological world. And as a fourth year, something that I spent months doing is looking at different job listings, trying to get this idea of what I really do want to do with my anthropology major. And you guys would be shocked at how many listings would either require or prefer some level of coding skills. Now, anthropology is an incredibly short major, not just at UCLA, at many other institutions. And so I would highly recommend that with this extra time that you have as a byproduct of doing the anthropology major, to take at least one coding class. No, there's not a specific language that I think you guys should study, but anthropology across the fields, across the disciplines, tends to deal with a lot of data, right? You try to understand human populations in some way or another. I know so many anthropology students are going to hate that, and I'm so sorry, but if I could do anything differently, this is one of those things. I will say that I tried to take a coding class. Like, it's not like I just ignored it completely. I wanted to get in, but the classes were pretty impacted, so it was challenging for me to take one. But I tried. The next thing that I would do differently is engage with more areas of anthropology besides research. Now, I've noticed that as I've come to the end of college, a lot of people in my life have put all their eggs in one basket, so to speak. And to some extent, this definitely applies to me as well. I spent the last 4 years completely devoting myself to anthropological research in several different settings, right? In a lab, in an honors program, in other opportunities as well, actually. And what can happen with anyone is if you spend all this time doing one thing, there's always this possibility that you get to the end of college and realize, maybe that's not the only thing that I like or the only thing that I want to do. And for me, this is research, but for you, this could be anything. So I really do think that the smart thing to do is to diversify the parts of anthropology that you're engaging with. Work in a museum, volunteer in a museum, work in a research lab, go to a field school, engage with different subfields than maybe the one that you find to be the most interesting. I have loved biological anthropology for all of college, but looking forward, I'm not actually sure if biological anthropology is the one that I would for sure want to study. I just do think that while it is great for some people to do one thing for 4 years, I think it's a safer thing to diversify those options if you can, and engage with anthropology in a lot of different ways. So then when you get to the end of college, you have a good idea of what it is that you really want. Now, the next thing that I would have done differently about being an anthropology major in college is I would have taken more real world courses. Now, this might seem like the same as the coding class, but I don't think you need to take a coding class to get by in the world. I think it's really helpful and you have more job options if you know how to code. But what I mean by this tip more specifically is to take advantage of the fact that anthropology is such a short major and take a personal finance class, take a real estate class, learn how to invest, maybe take a class in economics or business business. I'm not really sure what that looks like for you or at your institution, but anthropology is so real world and applicable in some ways, but in these other ways, there's so many skills that you need just for personal development, I think. And anthropology classes don't necessarily set you up for that kind of success. And so if you have the space in your schedule and your mental health, like if it's not going to stress you out too much, I really would recommend taking a personal finance class or a business class just so you enter the real world with some applicable knowledge, because I find myself having to teach myself these things just online and through videos and stuff. And I think it could have been cool to have a professor actually teach me these things and it to be built into my everyday part of life. Now, my fourth and final recommendation is probably the best one. So if you stuck around this far, you're the real winner. And that is to actually look at job listings early. And by early, I mean your freshman year of college. I have come to find that college is a little bit backwards, and no one tells you this until you've already finished it. And what I mean by that is you go through your major and you take all these classes. And at the end, when it's completely on you to find a job, your professors don't help you, your institution doesn't really help you in this one-on-one type of way. You start looking at jobs in your fourth year and you start to see the skills that you actually need. That's problematic because you don't have another 4 years to learn those skills. You need them now. And I'm not saying that you need to know what you want to do as a freshman. If someone told me that I needed to know what I want to do as a freshman, I'd probably have had a breakdown on the spot. I had no idea what I even wanted to major, and I was undeclared going into college. Like, I had no idea. But I think to even look into jobs that you just find interesting, right? Like if you find working with animals interesting, or if you find research interesting, or if you like to read, maybe you want to be an editor or a publisher, I don't know. Look into the kinds of skills that they require you to have, or the kind of experience that they require you to have. One of the things that I looked into is user experience research. And user experience research positions often like it if you have some experience with user experience research. It makes sense. And if you don't learn that until you're actually filling out those job applications and looking at these listings, it's not functional. It doesn't work. And so I'm telling you now to just look through job listings that are available, see what's out there, and see what kinds of skills you would need. And just keep that in your tool belt in the back of your mind as you make your way through college with this anthropology major, because I do think a lot of the times it's on you to get those internships or those volunteer positions or learn those programs that you need to learn, and not necessarily the responsibility of the college. I don't like that it's set up that way, but I'm telling you now that that is how it's set up. So yeah, do with that information what you will. Now, I know the title of this video is super dramatic, what I would have done differently, blah, blah, blah. And it's true, I would have done some of these things if I had the opportunity to go back and do it again. But I do want to close out this video by saying that I would not change the fact that I'm an anthropology major. I absolutely love my major, and I do have somewhat of a plan post-college that, again, I will be telling you guys about in the future. But yeah, I love this major, and I just want to use this space online that I've created to share with you guys some of the things that I think would be helpful for you to know, and things that would have been nice for me to know as a freshman, but I didn't. So yeah, I think that's actually all I have to say in this video. Next week's video is going to be, I guess, almost like an add-on of this video. It's going to be pretty good. So get excited for that, and I will see everybody next Sunday. All right, you guys. Bye.